Half of Filipinos don't save. To be honest, I thought majority of Filipinos don't save, but that is not for me to say. According to the Financial Inclusion Survey result of Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas in 2018, only 53% Filipinos have savings. Of these people who save, majority of them save in an informal way. An example of an informal way of saving is through paluwagan or saving at home. While this can be beneficial for easy access of liquid cash, informal saving is very risky since it is not covered by a reserve just like in banks. But I guess that is so much better than not saving at all, right? We know that saving for the rainy days is very important. So why would half of the population not save? Lack of money. People don't save because they believe that they lack money. And that is the same reason 71% of adult Filipinos are unbanked. The responders of the survey said that they use their income and their savings on something expensive. So their earnings are spent away on things that are beyond what they're supposed to spend. Most people also spend their savings on something they wish to have, like an expensive cell phone. Well, maybe that's better than applying for a loan, right? But that is not the right way of saving. We have what we call the wrong way and the right way of saving. And here's another shocking fact. According to a study conducted by Film Life, 96% of Filipinos are concerned about their own and their family's health. However, only 16% are prepared to pay for the medical costs if they are diagnosed with it. So much about the survey. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about your financial goals this year. Did you miss your target last year? Are you one of those people who get affected by the global crisis? I know, who isn't? But enough of what had happened, and let's focus on what we have at the moment and how we can take advantage of it for the future. According to a research, 72% of the American household don't have a written financial plan. Well, I couldn't find a data for the Philippines, so let's just assume that we have the same number. And 72% is a big number. But why do we need to have a written financial plan anyway? Clarity. That's the simplest way of putting it. A written financial plan helps you set and reach your financial goals. It gives you direction. It allows you to have something to focus on. Having a written financial plan is just like having a roadmap. It allows you to see where you are, where you're heading, and how much work you need to put on in order for you to move from where you are to where you want to be. So when we talk about having a written financial plan, where do we start? Of course, we start with understanding. What are those areas that you need to consider when you write a financial plan? In preparing for your financial plan, you have to consider the 6 levels of financial foundation: cash flow, healthcare, life insurance, debt management, emergency fund, investment. Now, the first level that we need to understand is cash flow. It's the flow of cash into your pocket and out of your pocket. In understanding your personal cash flow, there are 2 major information that you need to have. First is the statement of assets, liabilities, and net worth. Probably you've heard this from politicians. That is also applicable to us, ordinary folks. We need to have this information for us to be aware of our current assets and our current liabilities and how much net worth we have. For this particular information, what we wish to see is a positive net worth, which means that your assets are more than your liabilities. Now, if you see your salin to have a negative net worth, it means that there is so much that you need to do in order to improve your current financial situation so that your net worth will be positive. Having a negative net worth means that you are wasting money, you are allowing debts to eat your assets. The second information that you need to be familiar with is your cash flow statement. This piece of information allows you to see the picture of how much you're earning and how much you're spending. Our goal here is to make sure that our cash flow is positive and increasing, because we have to monitor this on a regular basis. If you see that on this particular month your cash flow is negative, you need to do some adjustments. You can have another source of income so that you're income will increase, or you can reduce your expenses, or both. Many of us are concerned about our health and the health of our family members, but unfortunately, only a few of us are prepared for it. In fact, in the Philippines right now, having a healthcare fund is not a common practice. Most people don't see it as a top priority. Having a healthcare fund should be considered a priority so that if you get sick in the future, which we don't like, you can afford your hospitalization and medical bills. And you will avoid getting into debt just to pay for your bills in the hospital. Next to healthcare fund, life insurance is also something that a lot of people don't prioritize in their finances. A lot of people think that it's an expense without thinking that life in this world is not permanent and unpredictable. The question is, what if you die too soon? Who will take care of your family? Who will take care of your kids? Who will take care of your kids' college education? That is the purpose of life insurance. The money that your family will get from your life insurance will make sure that they will continue with their life, will make sure that whatever dreams you have for your family will still continue, even if you are not with them physically. It's simple. You have to ensure that you eliminate especially the bad debts. Debts are like termites. Without you being aware of it, it's like eating whatever you have left in your finances. Many people confuse with emergency fund and debt. A lot of people practice by getting into debt whenever they have emergencies at home. You shouldn't do that. You need to have an extra fund to make sure that during emergency situations, you will be able to survive financially. And it's just like having a spare battery for your cell phone. Just in case your cell phone runs out of power, you won't be worried because you have a spare battery. You also need to have a discipline to make sure that whatever amount you have in your emergency fund will only be spent for true emergencies. For example, there's a calamity, there's an accident, or there's a major repair at home. Sometimes people fool themselves for having an emergency. For example, they just need to have a new cell phone. Unless your current cell phone is no longer working, then having a new phone, especially an expensive one, is not an emergency. A lot of people are more excited about this aspect of their finances, but you have to make sure that before you get into an investment, you already have established all the other levels in your finances. And of course, you have to be aware that investments have risks. So whatever happens to your investment, you should still be able to survive financially. The purpose of having an investment is to make sure that you would be able to afford your lifestyle in case you extend your life. What if you die too soon? I've talked about it a while ago. The answer to that is life insurance. Now, what if you die too long, longer than you expected? The answer to that is investment. Make sure that the investments that you will have will allow you to have that lifestyle that you like in the future. Now, the final question you need to answer in your financial plan is how much? How much do you need to have in each level of the financial foundation? To answer that question, I prepared a short guide for you. To learn more about financial planning and how much you need to allocate in each levels of the financial foundation, just go to the link below and download that simple guide that I prepared for you. Now, if you haven't done financial planning in the past, and if this is your first time to do so, don't worry, because that guide will help you get started, and it's very easy to do. It's very easy to follow. And if you have questions, just leave in the comments below. Alright, so thank you so much for dropping by. If you learned something from this video, I hope you thumbs up. If you want to learn more about financial planning, please subscribe to my channel. This has been Franklin Vios, financial educator at IMG and a home-based dad. See you in the next video.